Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap, and it is Thursday. We're getting close to the end of the week, and even though we're in this tight range, it feels like there's been lots of action, lots of easy ways to lose, and definitely some ways to have calculated risk and trades to make some money. Starting from Monday, you had the reversal, take some home. Tuesday, gap up, sell, woohoo! Some of you guys got short, made money, went red. Wednesday opened up. Tried to fade it, didn't go down. Even if you weren't long, you could have made some money buying versus the gap. Then it ran, and then Wednesday into the end of the day, kind of sold off. And then today was actually a much more tighter day. So if you go to the chart of the S&P cash, not a whole lot to make of it, except for, if you take a really step back and say, hey, you know what, and just say you didn't watch the trading from the course of the past week, you would go like this. You go, okay, look at this. So here we have this lower level range, okay, between, just say still that's 2603, and here is 2800. Now we're sitting down here in what you would think is somewhat of a bear flag. Okay, we've been down here now 3-4 days where we haven't even had enough juice to get pretty much back in the midpoint going sideways. So compartmentally, this seems pretty weak. If we were in October, I would be like, oh my God, we should not be short. We should be foaming at the lips, the mouth to go down. Because it's, December 13th, I'm thinking, hey, maybe they try and keep a little seasonality, keep a little bit in, so this way, it's not game over yet going into the last week or two of the year. But you can't think with seasonality. You have to think with the price action. But all in all, at this point, perhaps this lower level pivot, we've seen these before, resolves to the upside back into some resistance, or it rolls over and goes down. There's not a whole heck of a lot of clues here, except for the small caps are very weak. If you're looking at the small caps and say, hey, you know what should I be, long or short here? Well, the small caps broke this level, tried to rally up, kind of wedged here, and it already is on its way resolving to the downside. That's why I'm actually short a little spiders as a hedge, but I still have the longs on. But this is telling you this is very, very weak. It's been very weak for a while now. So anyway, but it has led us lower, so you can't ignore it. JP Morgan and the banks, still very weak. You want to go in hindsight, or you just want to take a look here. This is when it broke this level on Monday, which brought us down. Here is when we talked about it playing downside catch-up on this wide range bar below the moving average. I teach you guys, get out of the way when you break the 821 day, and this broke all of them at once. And now, if you look at it right here, all this really is a bear flag. Okay, can't even rally. So what would drive this market lower? Well, if JP Morgan breaks above this recent low, which is about 99.28, that would definitely drag us lower. Whether it happens tomorrow or whether it happens, next week or two, whatever it does, you have to watch out. If we get back above this, hey, relieve some pressure, and maybe it tries to bounce a bit. We've seen this before a few times. Remember, it looked like, here, and then you had your red dog reversal, and then it bounced. I'm not saying it's going to happen here, but, this definitely is not something I'd be sitting in long overnight anticipating, but you'll watch the way it trades. This is playing some downside catch-up to Goldman Sachs, which has been a disaster. Disaster if you're long, but a lot of money if you're short. Here was that day it broke all the moving averages and then follow through, and then it broke below the range, and it's been dripping down ever since. This also, if this were to get below this spot from Monday, you better watch out, because the market will notice again. So banks, financial still look not good at all. I guess what rallied the market a little bit, the USO. Okay, does this mean oil kind of is going to be back in play, or is it bottomed? I don't know. We haven't seen a wide range bar like this in a while. So this helped the S&P. Maybe the market wanted to do that just to not let it fall apart because everything else was so weak. All I know is here's your breakout failure. Here's when the trend changed, and now it's one day up. Squeeze back some shorts, but the sectors didn't really even pay attention. The XLE, nothing really here. The OAHs, nothing really here. So maybe it doesn't believe the oil move, or maybe they go tomorrow. I don't know. Schlumberger is just a piece of, I'm not going to say it, all the way down here. Everyone's like, wasn't this supposed to be like the class of the oil group? Well, things change. Same way GE was supposed to bring good things to life. Well, it hasn't in a long time. Look at this, look at the 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average has been broken. It's been underneath it since 29. We talk about how something's not investable when something's below the 200-day. So people are like, oh, how did this happen? Well, you know what? You could have been out of the way a long time ago, okay? Same thing when oil broke like 60 or 70 way back when before going to 25. But right here, GE got dark. Didn't, back in the dark, not in the light. But anyway, all the way down here. Today, one of the JP Morgan guys went from a sell to I didn't even know, a hold, and everyone got excited. But meanwhile, still was an opening sale, and there was no way to see that coming. So now I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. Does it hold 712? In tech, I've been waiting for some kind of divergence in Apple, and finally we had it. And all in all, though, it still didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Think about how much I made decent money in Apple today on this little bar. Can't imagine if we actually had like better action again. But anyway, what are you going to do? It tried to get above this. It couldn't continue. So maybe tomorrow, if the market's a little better, it gets going, or it doesn't. It's been in a downtrend. It's still not special. It's still broken. Not much you could say about it. It's been below the 8-day all the way here. Sorry. All the way from here all the way down to now here. It's at a crucial spot. Maybe this time it goes to the 21-day or not. I don't know. All I know is they're spending $1 billion on a facility in Texas, so maybe they are selling some iPhones that everyone keeps talking about bringing lower. But all in all, there was a nice trade there. I wasn't long overnight. I got long pre-market. All of a sudden, futures came in. Remember, we talked about a signal. All of a sudden, this was hanging out here, and I bought a lot of it. And then I just sold into strength, and then it just did a whole lot of nothing the rest of the day. But this trade right here made me a lot of money, because if you look here, the low was put in, actually this was yesterday, here, right around, what was it? What was it, 170.50. It opened up, went sideways, and as this was going sideways, in the first 15 minutes, the SPYs were coming down. The SPYs broke. So the SPYs broke right here. Okay, so this was just say on this bar, just to look for a signal. Okay, this was 950. This broke below this spot, filled the gap. What did Apple do at 950? At 950, which is right here, did it break this spot? No. Did it come back down to the opening prints? No. So because I trade Apple so closely, I'm like, wow, first time it's showing a little relative strength. Went after it, and got into a bunch of tears and made some good money. Tried again, didn't work, and then I just kind of sat the rest of the day in whatever I had left. So that's the signal. All in all, we're still in this lower range. There's lots of reasons to be very cautious. The small caps are weak, the banks are weak. Oil had a little pop that kind of saved the day. Some tech is kind of wishy-washy. I am in Tesla. Hopefully something bad doesn't happen overnight. The chart looks really good. Closed on the highs while the market did not. The macro pattern to me is pretty darn good, and there's not many macro patterns like this. Buying for potential overnight strength has not really worked. So if you did it with me today, it's Friday. I'm hoping we're not going to get a surprise, but it does look pretty darn good overall. This macro pattern that's been in control pretty much for almost 2 years. It's right here while the market's not. So you would think, if anything could go, the good book says to be long, not short. So we'll see. It did close near the highs of the day, so we'll see if we get a little bit of follow through tomorrow. If it doesn't, it opens down. My stop will be the 8-day, which is about $12 below, which would suck. Oh, excuse my French, be bad if it goes down there. But if it doesn't, maybe it's buy. If it's down a little bit with the futures, you could buy it, goes above today's high tomorrow. You make more money. If it gaps up tomorrow, you have a little bit of a head start on your Friday. So all in all, this week you had to be very planned. You had to be very specific. You had to be very methodical. If you shorted too early, on Wednesday you got hurt. If you bought too early on the pullback on Tuesday, you went red and you got pushed out of it. If you didn't play the reversal on Monday and take things home Tuesday, it was hard to make money. There was lots of little fine lines in making and losing a lot of money this week. Hopefully you were on the good side of the fine line. For me, I had a good solid week, netted money every day, made some decent money. Hopefully if you were following, you've done well. DP's been giving a lot of good information out there. A lot of you guys are all communicating, so I appreciate that. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And then we only have like 2 weeks left of December. So you're not going to make or lose your year in the last 2 weeks if you are around and you're not on the vacation or you're not on the beach or in the mountains. Just make sure you plan, make sure you know what's happening. try and, rub some nickels together to net some money. Don't be swinging the bat to hit that home run, because the last thing you want to do is lose a lot of money heading into the holidays and just be upset when now's not the time for that. This is the time to maybe make a little bit, lose a little bit, and stay engaged if you're not on vacation. And if you're not on vacation and you want to staycation, go to the gym, go to the sauna, go to the steam room, hang out with your family. You don't need to trade, and you could sit on your hands and just wait for the setup that's conducive to your style. I'll be in Short Hills tomorrow, and I'll let you know what I'm doing, and that is that. Have a good night.